Partners in Ministry, a presentation of Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation, dedicated to growing ministry support networks, introducing people to a cause that connects with their heart, bringing hope and encouragement to our communities as we seek together to serve as Christ served.
Welcome to Partners in Ministry. My name is Dan Smith, and today I'll be talking with Ryan Keller. Ryan is the Executive Director of Hope for Healing Resource Assistance Network. In this interview, we're going to discuss common questions asked by local churches considering becoming a friendship or a church partner. Well, welcome, Ryan. Thanks for joining me today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Now, Hope for Healing's mission or its purpose is to connect people with the resources they need to live life at its fullest. Now, I understand that that's ministry is built on three very, very important roles. What are those three roles?
Well, we have what we call the church partner or friendship partner, which we're going to be talking about today. We have other types of partners where they provide the resources, so we call them resource partners. And then we have the actual Hope for Healing staff who does the research and looks through and finds the resources that are available. So we're connecting our friendship partner and our resource partners on behalf of the person in need or family in need that's contacting us.
Okay. So you mentioned friendship partner. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to pretend that I'm a prospective friendship or church partner. And I'm going to ask you some common questions that usually come up in the interviewing process. So are you ready?
Sounds great.
All right, here we go. The obvious one, and the first one is, why am I called a friendship partner?
It goes back to the idea of building relationships. So although we want to connect people with churches and we don't hide that or conceal that from anybody, that's part of what makes Hope for Healing who we are. That's the only requirement we have of our people that reach out to us looking for assistance. But we want to reinforce that idea that it is about building relationships. For the church in general, most people that are going to interact with the church and haven't been churched before, or it's been a long time since they've been part of a church, they kind of go from that idea of, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. And so we want to set the right mentality or idea with that. So not only is it about building friendship, but as a friend, we often can then provide things like emotional, spiritual, just, kind of that regulatory support that people need. We don't always have to have answers. We don't necessarily go to our friends, right, and expect them to have the solution to our problem. We just want them to be there to hear us, to kind of be with us while we walk through the path that we're going.
Sure. Yeah, I know challenges and need can often isolate people. So if I'm hearing what you're saying, that this is one of the things that Hope for Healing does to try to address that, is so that people don't feel isolated, that they do feel safe and comfortable in some sort of a relationship that's positive and supportive for who they are as an individual. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Great. So that then leads into, what kind of things am I going to be asked to do?
Well, essentially, as the friendship partner, you are going to be the contact on behalf of your church to this individual. Now, that sounds a little clinical or sterile, in my opinion, so I don't like that idea. So really, what am I being asked to do? Well, how do we make friends? So maybe I meet with this person and we meet for coffee or some other drink if coffee's not your choice. Maybe we, get together at the church or at a park or something, and we just spend time together. Because like you said, need, especially a big need, because people are reaching out to us, it feels like the biggest need probably they've ever faced. They don't know how to solve it themselves. So need isolates. This idea is just to be there and to be their friend. It takes a lot of pressure off of you too, because then you don't have to feel like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because you know that you have a team of people behind you looking for solutions. And when those solutions come up, they will be presented to you.
Okay. So as a friendship partner, I'm providing relational support. I'm not going to be asked to find resources. So what happens? Will I be asked to give money?
No, we never ask a friendship partner to give money. there's two ways of looking at that. So as a friendship partner, you as the individual or possibly couple who are representing your church are a friendship partner, but then your church as a whole is also a friendship partner. So the idea behind Hope for Healing is to take that pressure off of the church and off of the individual to feel like they have to find something or do something. We really are there to support you. So it provides for very clear role identity. You don't have to take on a role that you haven't signed up for. And you can just tell that to the individual you're working with as well. If they're like, well, why can't you do this? Because that's not my role. I'm here to walk with you, to help you, to share things with you. But I'm kind of just as much in the dark about this as you are. That's why we're relying on Hope for Healing for that extra support.
Okay. So I'm a friendship partner. I happen to be out for coffee with the person in need. And in the process of the conversation, something comes up. It might be money. It might be some other thing, a resource that they're needing. What do I do?
Well, if it was me, I would look at them and say, that's a new need, isn't it? That's something that is new. So is it okay if I reach out to Hope for Healing on your behalf and let them know that there's a new need here that needs to be taken care of? And so you're still able to pray with them, to kind of just be there and walk with them through that. I know that seems like a hard concept. It really shouldn't be, but in our age where we are so social, right, through social media, we actually have become more distant from them. But it's able to look at people and just tell them, I'm sorry you're going through that. I want to be here for you. In the meantime, can we contact Hope for Healing and let them know there's a new need? And that way they can be researching that need as well.
Okay. So that kind of helps us understand what this connecting partner is too then. So the friendship partner is finding the relationship needs and whatever the person in the process, a need comes up, they then ask if it's okay to refer it to the network, which would go to one of these connecting partners. And then they would search the database and to figure out if there's a solution for that need then.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. All right. That takes a lot of pressure off. You're right. So how long am I going to be asked to do this?
I think that's the wrong question to a certain extent. I've never sought to develop a friendship with somebody looking for an end date to my friendship. So I'm not trying to be preachy or judgy in that comment, but the reality is that if you no longer want to be a part of that ministry on behalf of your church, you can certainly talk to your church and let them know that you don't want to do that anymore, or maybe you're on a vacation. Maybe you're, one of those, what we call snowbirds, right? Where you leave for the winter for a few months and then come back. You can always take a hiatus and come back to the ministry if that's what you want. But Hope for Healing is never going to pressure you or try to hunt you down to take on somebody. That is 100% your choice. But on the other part of it is that we truly hope and pray that this develops intentional, real relationships. So we hope that as through every friendship, the individuals serving through a ministry like this are going to also gain something from it and gain new friends through the process.
Okay, great. So what do I do if the relationship really just doesn't seem to be working out?
Those things happen. So the first thing I would suggest is if your church is part of the network, which they should be, then I would go back to the person at your church who is the head of this part of ministry. So maybe it's your local missions, maybe it's your social justice committee, whatever that may be, but whoever's in charge of overseeing this group of intentional friendship developing ministry, and say, I don't think it's fitting, here's why, and see if there is somebody else within your church that might be able to take that role on. If not, it's simply letting Hope for Healing know, and then we will go to bat again and find a church partner that might be a better fit. Not all of us can befriend everybody, right? So we understand sometimes there's going to be situations that just don't work out.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, friendships of all different types have all different kinds of lengths. They have all different types of dynamics and whatnot. And you never know, this could be one of those relationships that really lasts for a lifetime. Another time, It may only last for a couple of weeks because that's kind of really where the need is at that particular point. So it just kind of depends on what's going on then, it sounds like.
I kind of also look at it as the parable with the sower. Some people sow, some people harvest. Some people are going to be the ones that take out the weeds. You're going to have some people, some farmers will be there from planting through harvest. And then you're going to have some that are only able to plant and some that are only able to harvest. And that's okay, because it's ultimately through a ministry like this, we are also trusting that God will be involved through the process. He'll bless all of the efforts, regardless of what our role will be.
Yeah. So many help ministries within the local church really are focused on a very limited number of people that can actually help with what it is that they're trying to do. This sounds like it's a way of basically expanding the possibility of being involved in the help ministry of the church to really to anybody. I mean, it could even be a 12-year-old kid.
Right. Yeah. Anybody has the ability to connect with another person through similar interests, through just personality types. So yes, it does set up a very unique situation where we each have the opportunity to serve in our own way that really capitalizes on who we are as an individual, rather than on trying to put a cookie cutter approach in and making everybody adapt.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Ryan, I just really want to thank you for joining me today. It sounds like the Hope for Healing Resource Assistance Network really could be a tool that could build some great relationships with people and the local church.
I believe it is, and we'd love to be able to talk to people more about it.
Okay. Hey, if you've got any questions or if you'd like to learn more about Hope for Healing, you can see their contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for this episode on our website or in the description of this YouTube video. On behalf of Hope for Healing, Ryan Keller, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for joining me today. And until next time, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.
This has been a presentation of Partners in Ministry, a podcast of Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation. To learn more and see the show notes for this and other episodes, visit our website. To stay informed of up and coming broadcasts, subscribe to our e-newsletter. To invest in our mission, donate today.